I'm so excited to be having another conversation with a mission maker and certified brain game coach, Heidi Isaac. Welcome to this conversation. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm really excited, especially because you were one of my very first brain game students that I ever taught. And I am really excited to find out, what was life like before you took the brain game?
So I think before, not I think, I know, before I took the brain game, I was probably about 5 years into this 10-year journey of
Mhm.
self-awareness that I've been on. And I had done a lot of self-development courses at that point, but it was always like the next thing, the next thing. Like I always had to do another thing. I didn't ever feel like I had the thing that worked. So definitely had gained a lot of awareness before that, but was still in the blender kind of.
I love that description. That's very much in the blender.
Right? It was just
And
like
then,
add another
right?
ingredient.
And it's never enough. You got to just keep adding more stuff in, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So you go through the 10 weeks of Brain Game with me, and what was it like on the other side of that?
The biggest thing was the clarity, and I think probably doing less,
Mhm.
taking more things off the table, and getting a lot more clear on what I wanted. So all of a sudden I had clarity. It's like, oh, I actually do know what I want, and it doesn't look like what I thought it did.
Right.
And yeah, so it was an interesting, like, I remember donating books and things that I had read just to kind of get
Mm.
rid of some of that pressure.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, I love that.
place, yeah.
I think that's a common result, with clarity comes let's clear out all the stuff we don't need, right? Including a lot of the things on the to-do list that we thought we should be doing,
Exactly.
right? So
Yes.
much more freedom on the other side. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So what would you say is your like favorite thing about the brain game?
Everything. Honestly, my very favorite thing that was the most impactful for me, and I've used a ton in my work since, is the ideal day meditation.
Mm,
So often, and this was my issue, I was like, I don't know what I want. Like, I have an idea of what I want, but I don't know what I want. And I'd write the things that I thought. So I'd do a manifestation course with someone or something, right? And I'd make this list and do this dream board and put pictures that I thought, like, what I thought I should want with the things, the pieces I wanted.
right.
When I did the ideal day meditation with you, I was in it. I felt it. I was like, oh, I do know exactly what I want. And it's interesting because it's still very similar, what, five
Mm,
years or four, however long it's been, 4 or 5 years. And I think when I've used that with clients, it's so cool because they're like, I don't know what I want. And then I just take them into that,
mhm.
and they know, we all know, right? And
Yeah, it becomes so clear when you shut out all the noise and
yeah,
and one of the things that I have always laughed about that visualization is how much food is involved in that visualization. And I've always giggled about that. I mean, why am I eating all day? And then I was like, oh, but I don't have to eat in the visualization. It was like, what are you eating for breakfast? Actually, nothing. I'm going about my day or whatever it is. Right. But I always laughed at the very beginning of that visualization because I'm like, you're eating breakfast and then you're eating lunch and then you're eating dinner. But there's so many other pieces to it that really helps you unfold what it would be like to just live your life the way you want it to. So
yeah,
good.
and without any of the money and the partner and the kids and the where and all of that, like, those all come in.
Yeah.
But when you can take that away and just build the day,
Mhm.
I'm just fascinated by how much we already know inside,
Yeah.
and just how as soon as we can get quiet and clear, that just comes bubbling up. It's just like, I am ready to be seen, and it's so much simpler than we think it is.
Yes, yes. And I think that comes down to the clarity conversation that we just had, right? It was like once you clear out all the noise of all the I should be doing this and the obligations and all the things, it comes very clear what you want in a very tight knit container. And this is it, right? Yeah. And then all the other stuff just comes in to enhance that. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
So good. So tell us a little bit about your experience in boot camp and becoming a brain game coach.
So was that 2 years ago now?
It's been a
Been a
minute.
minute. Going it was really hard.
Mhm.
Like good hard. I thought, "Oh, piece of cake, like, I love the brain game, it's amazing, of course I wanna do the certification, I wanna share it with everyone," and then I hopped in and was doing it with a friend
Mhm.
as my client or whatever you call that, my beta client,
Yeah.
and it was hard, like, I felt like I learned way more or had way more coming up than she did. I know she had a very beautiful, impactful experience as well,
Mhm.
but teaching really does make it the next level
Yes.
of knowing it and living and breathing it. So it was great, and I would do it again in a heartbeat, and it was way harder than I thought. And when I was done, I was so glad I had done it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah.
So you come into boot camp and you go to teach your very first session. How were you feeling before you got into the call to teach that first session? What was going
Oh,
through your
I was like, good. I'm like, I got this. This is so great. And it was amazing. And actually the first session was super easy. And I think I was even at the lake then. Like it was kind of that like, oh, it started out so great.
Uh-huh.
Stuff started coming up and I started hitting walls myself that week. And then the next week I go into the call and I was a little more humbled. And
Mhm.
um, yeah, really was going through the same thing she was going through, but in my own way. And then I was more prepared to watch for the things coming up after that and be a little more just in them and able to work through them. But it was way harder than I thought, but good hard.
I love that. I love that. So it's funny because I think you're probably the only person that I've asked that question of who wasn't nervous before the first session. And so there's a difference in how your story unfolded of like you were like, I got this. And then you went, oh, hang on a second.
Yeah.
There's all this stuff. Yeah, I love that. So you walk through the 10 weeks with your client, your beta client, and you get to that last session. What was it like finishing the session with her? Finishing that 10-week program with her?
It was really empowering for her and I, like, to see because I knew her well, to see the changes that had gone on for her and the possibility that she could now bring into her life. She was a new mom at the time. It was really it just, like, brought it into my heart in the knowing of I do wanna do this, and it's not hard.
Yeah.
Like, yes, growth and learning can be hard, and we can have those moments that feel really sticky, but aside from that, it's such a gentle, easy process. She was a brand new mom, and we made it work through her schedule. And she had so much just clarity and expansion through it. So I was really grateful and excited to teach it again.
Oh, I love that. So I want to know what inspired you in the first place to become a brain game coach? What was the drive behind that?
I think for me, I've done a few other certifications. I'm a yoga teacher, meditation teacher, a few other things that I've been through. And I think it because it's such a simple 10-step program that can be or 10-week, whatever, 10-section segment program that can be used in so many ways. So I saw the value of doing the 10-week full program. I also have seen since the value of pulling little pieces out and using them. I mean, I use them in my life every day.
Mhm.
So it's and every step in every piece of the brain gain program is so simple. Like, it's not easy, but it's simple. So to teach it, to get someone to grasp it, it doesn't take a lot to explain it to someone. And I've explained it to, 75-year-old men and
Mhm.
13-year-old children
Yeah.
and everyone in between. And it's not, I don't find it challenging to take a picture or a slide or just a concept or an idea and share it in a really simple way. So I love that piece of it. And I was just like, of course, this is the next thing that I want to take. And it's it's been amazing.
Mhm. Yeah. So you use pieces of the brain game in your retreats. You've got a retreat coming up very soon.
I do.
So you pull some of those pieces out and use them in your retreat, but do you also teach the 10-week program itself? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And I think that's part of the beauty of the brain game is that we can use bits and pieces of it in our work. It enhances people who have different modalities. We can pull it in and use pieces of it, use other modalities, and it works within all of those realms, whether you have other modalities or you don't, right?
100%. Yeah.
I never had any modalities when I first started teaching it. I just started teaching the brain game and then I added in numerology and, of course, Q. But I think it works so well for already established coaches and coaches who are brand new who don't have any modality. It works for both.
100%. Because I do Reiki and meditation and now quantum expansion and numerology as well. I'm in the advanced program. And it all fits so well together.
Yeah.
Which is the beauty of us then being able to take our own personal message out into the world with some support and some ways, like clear ways of doing it.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's my passion behind training coaches to do the brain game is not that it's cookie cutter and you got to do it my way and do it exactly this. We want you to go out and do it your way, which is exactly what you're demonstrating. And I love it.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Like I have a retreat coming up in 2 weeks in Mexico, and it just kind of came to me of the way that I want to bring some brain game tools into every day and turn them into conversations. And then hopefully that plants the seed for them to want to do the full 10-week journey with me or with someone else on their own through, wherever, right? It's like, oh, this stuff is good. Like this makes life easier. And that's my goal is for everyone to understand that life can be a lot easier than we typically have made it be.
I'll vouch for that. Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
Less is more, prioritizing, energy and emotion before taking action. Like those are such huge tools, but they're so simple.
Yeah.
And
Simple, and like you said, simple but not always easy.
yeah,
But when you've got a coach supporting you and you've got the tools, you know when to go to specific tools, and I think that's the key.
yeah, huge.
Yeah, beautiful. Heidi, thank you so much for having this conversation with me today. You know I love to talk about all things brain game. I'm curious, what is your dream for the brain game? Where do you see the brain game going? What do you wish for the brain game to, how do you wish for it to unfold?
So I love the idea of anyone being able to come in and take the certification to teach it and then taking it apart in whatever way that they feel pulled. Because I think if we can share something this special in our own way, the ripple of it is endless.
Mhm.
And so I just hope that everyone takes the training, or everyone that's drawn to this training takes it and shares it in their own way, in their own circle. And then the impact is endless. And I love that. And I think it could be the thing that kind of takes over the world in a beautiful way.
Yeah, we're gonna take over the world with brain game. I love it. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Heidi. It's been a pleasure, an honor to be your coach in the very beginning and to see how far you've grown and shifted and taken this and made it your own. So thank you for moving brain game out into the world. For those of you who are watching, who are listening, who absolutely adore Heidi like I do, we'll make sure that there is a link so that you can connect with her. And if you are interested in boot camp, you can absolutely connect with me and we'll have a conversation to see if it's a fit. Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you.